I got to get your thoughts, if we could, on this potential transaction between Microsoft and TikTok. If you were running Microsoft today, would you want to buy this company?
I think it's an exciting I say this as the shareholder at this stage. I think it's an exciting proposition for Microsoft. Obviously, it depends on the price. Price is important, and as well as whatever restrictions come with it from a government perspective. But I think it's an exciting avenue for Microsoft to really increase its consumer base.
Let me ask you, as somebody who has bought consumer businesses before, and Microsoft has, I think it's fair to say, a mixed record on some of the consumer businesses it's been. I'm thinking of Bing, obviously, the Nokia transaction. On the other end, Xbox has been a wild success. Minecraft has been a wild success. How do you see this playing out for Microsoft, which has done so well recently by focusing, frankly, on the business enterprise consumer?
Well, I think, as you point out, there's successes and failures in the consumer business. And I think it's important to remember you've got to keep trying new things in order to build new businesses. Microsoft's legacy actually is in the consumer business and built an enterprise business. Skype acquisition went really well. Little bit there that missed the Zoom wave and the work from home wave. But here we are. We're doing Skype today. So I think there's nothing systemic in Microsoft. And I think it's an important addition to Microsoft's business model from a revenue perspective.
I wanted to go back to the TikTok conversation, if I may, and ask you for your reaction to what Peter Navarro suggested on TV this weekend, that Microsoft essentially was too close to the Chinese Communist Party, referring, I think presumably he's referring back to even including your tenure as CEO. Is there something to be worried about here about Microsoft's relationship with China? Is it too close and cozy?
Well, I think it's really hard to say that. If Microsoft was tight and cozy with the Chinese government, Microsoft's business would be bigger in China. Certainly it wasn't when I left. And as good as earnings growth has been over the last several years, if the Chinese market was as piracy-free as the rest of the world, if the Chinese market was as accepting of Microsoft's enterprise services as the rest of the world, Microsoft would be really, I think, quite a bit bigger. I can't peer inside the numbers, but I feel pretty confident in what I'm saying.
I want to talk about what you're doing with USA Facts and the NBA, but just one final question on this. If you were a company like Apple today, or another American company that does a lot of business in China, and by the way, Microsoft is one of them as well to some degree, would you be worried about a backlash?
Hard to predict, really hard to predict. I think in general, the way things are going between the U.S. and China, you can predict some level of friction, whether this happens or doesn't happen. Certainly, we've seen what happened with Huawei, and this has some elements of that. But I think at the end of the day, you're going to have a big Chinese company that wants to take good care of this asset. And whether that is selling to Microsoft or one of the other options they have, I think the acquisition can be a good one at the right price. But I don't really know what's going on. I can't say that I've got any real information. But as a shareholder, as I said, I'd be excited.